Obviously, you haven't heard the pup bark. Welcome to Mornings on Main Street, Clarksville. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. One Generation Away will be back in Waverly with its drive-through food distribution this weekend. This morning, see how this organization is helping hundreds of families with food insecurities and hear how you can join members of the Clarksville Rotary Club in making a difference. We also sit down with Clarksville native and pediatric dentist Dr. Kevin Kennedy Jr. to learn more on how he is using the latest laser technology to help infants and children eat, speak, and sleep better. And then get a look at how you can add a little extra sparkle to your style this holiday season or in the new year. But first, let's get a check at what's making the wrap with reporter Cheri Reeves.
This is the wrap for the Thursday, November 30th edition of Main Street Clarksville. At a virtual public hearing on Monday via Zoom, the Clarksville-Montgomery County School System presented its conceptual plans and maps to date for the future elementary school rezoning. An in-person public hearing is scheduled for January 2nd. We share those maps with you in this week's edition. CMCSS has reprimanded the principal and 3 assistant principals of New Providence Middle School in an incident involving alcohol. Read the details of how those administrators are being punished. The Clarksville Arts and Heritage Council honored 2 community leaders with Lifetime Achievement in Art and in Heritage Awards at its 18th annual membership gathering on Monday. Charles C. Halliburton received the Lifetime Achievement in Art Award, and Sarah Darnell received the Lifetime Achievement in Heritage Award. Congratulations, ladies. And finally, nearly 300 participants arrived at Governor Square Mall on Thanksgiving Day last week for the annual Pass the Turkey 5K. It's a fun run that raises money to help local organizations feed the hungry. The event, hosted by Clarksville Running Club, helps both Loaves and Fishes and Manna Cafe. And that's the wrap. I'm Cheri Reeves, Main Street, Clarksville.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
Welcome to the 2023 Magical Holiday Home Tour, coming for one day only. Immerse yourself in the spirit of the season as you explore stunning displays, twinkling lights, and charming decorations. The general admission tour of area luxury homes, including historic Rosemont, and a special tinsel tour of the original Fairview Plantation Mansion. Come and experience the warmth of the holidays by touring spectacular luxury homes. It's an event you won't want to miss.
At Implant and General Dentistry, we're proud to offer dental care you can trust. Our team, led by Dr. Andrew Flips, is dedicated to serving our community with the highest quality of care. We offer comprehensive dental exams, cleanings, whitening, and more. With our compassionate and experienced team, you'll be able to smile with confidence. Come experience the difference for yourself. Call us today to schedule an appointment or visit our website to learn more.
This holiday season, the largest lantern festival in the country returns to Nashville Zoo. See more than 1,000 Chinese lanterns. Welcome back to Zoolumination at Nashville Zoo. Bigger, brighter, and better than ever.
The nonprofit One Generation Away has a mission. It is hope, honor, and dignity shared through food. One Gen Away rescues high-quality food from restaurants, from grocery stores and farmers, and then distributes it to communities that need it, to those families and individuals who are experiencing a food insecurity. Well, since the August 2021 flood in Waverly, One Gen Away has been making monthly visits to that community. They've been handing out hundreds upon hundreds of pounds of food. I say hundreds, by now it is thousands and thousands of pounds of food, and sometimes flowers and a lot of love to those residents who need it. This morning, I get to introduce you to One Generation Away's founder and CEO, 3 volunteers, one of those being a local volunteer. They're from Waverly. They share with you the work being done, why they do it, and just how grateful that community is.
Waverly's been over 2 years ago since we've lost loved ones, lost neighbors, and I'm so excited. Bill Huffman from our Clarksville was able to help us with the disaster grant with Rotary International. We were able to get $40,000 to help those in Waverly. Today's a typical day, an incredible day, and today alone, our numbers have been just down a tad, but today we're going to serve over 300 families.
And it takes volunteers like Jeff Brasher and Jonette Brockway from Franklin to help feed those families.
Because they told us the last time when we were in Franklin, they said there were only 40 volunteers last time. And that's not enough to deliver all the food. Sorry. So, yeah. So we just oh, wait, you forgot. So we just decided, make the drive. They need the help. And it's such a great organization.
We are a volunteer-led organization. We've got about 13, 14 employees to move 10 million pounds of food. We now obviously need some help, right? And like where we are this morning, there's like 30,000 pounds of food in the parking lot right now. But we have, 60 volunteers. So we have thousands of volunteers all over the country, and we couldn't do it without our volunteers. This is about neighbor serving neighbor, neighbor loving neighbor. It's about us intentionally going in and taking care of the least of these in our communities. And we'll never be in it city or in it country or in it state until we intentionally take care of the least of these. I truly believe that.
Chris Whitney, founder and CEO of One Generation Away, says it really comes down to a simple phrase.
That Jesus said, he said, I did not come to be served, but to serve. And so we just have a heart to serve. And I believe there's no greater joy on earth. I believe that if you've got need, the best thing you can do is go serve another human being, because you'll find when you do that, whatever it is you're dealing with, somehow God's speaking to you through that encounter of serving someone else.
And it is that service above self that continues to bring out regular volunteers from the Clarksville Rotary Club and the Franklin Rotary Club. But donations also come in other forms.
So we rescue food. So some food's donated. We buy food. So really, we're the majority of what we do, over half of what we do is individual donors, just people giving us money. And every dollar donated is worth about $16 of retail food. For every dollar, we can provide 10 meals. So we run really lean. About 96 cents on the dollar goes to what we do according to our audit. And then we have corporate donors. So we have partnerships on the side of our truck. There's for $7,500 a year, they can have a logo on our trucks, which are on the road 6 days a week all over the place in different states. And then we have, we get grants. So grants are only about 15 to 20% of what we do. So we're not grant driven, but it's really about individuals, man. I just believe that as Americans, if we, mobilize ourselves together, we can make this happen for just pennies on the dollar. I mean, where else are you going to be able to say a dollar gets 10 meals? 1 in 10 people don't know where their next meal is coming from nationwide, and like 1 in 8 children, which to me, in America, how do we let this happen? That kids go home on a weekend and don't have something to eat, or an elderly person's like, do I buy my food or do I buy medicine? To me, that just can't happen in this country. And we waste so much food. So we rescue, not only do we do these mobile food pantries, but we rescue food 6 days a week from grocery stores, and that's on someone's table that evening. So instead of perfectly edible, healthy food being thrown away, we get to rescue it and make sure it gets into the hands of people that need it.
And those who need it here lined up hours before this distribution started.
We got canned goods, macaroni and cheese, vegetables, spaghetti, sauces, all wrapped up in here. Dottie, what do we have here?
We have biscuits here.
Biscuits. We're giving away biscuits this morning. Corn dog wraps. Down here, this is our mixed produce. Again, all kinds of different things. Grapes, lettuces, you name it. Fresh produce and each person's getting 2 full bags. Avocados, Jeff would probably pass on those, but they're still good. Down here, again, Matt, what do we have here? Is it Jell-O? Jell-O going out to all the families in Waverly. Grapes and fresh produce and peppers. Lastly, and we're already out of it, we have baked goods and desserts. We kind of finish off with that, and we're giving away dessert to everybody here today.
And what exactly does this food distribution mean to Waverly?
Means H-E-double-L hockey sticks. As Betty White used to say, it means a lot. I give to everybody that I know.
Oh, that's good.
I have a 94-year-old, I have 2 78 years old, and I got a 75-year-old, and that doesn't include me.
Waverly resident and volunteer Becky Matlock agrees that this does take a little bit of the weight off.
People with electric bills and things they can't, they're just so overwhelmed with your regular monthly things. And so the food giveaway helps them take one thing off their mind.
You live here in Waverly, you hear these people. What do you hear from them after distribution days like this?
I hear them break down so thankful and grateful for what this organization does. They will see me out on the street in between each month and they're like, we thank y'all so much. They just don't know how big a blessing they are to our family and our friends.
On the day that the interview was conducted there at that mobile pantry in Waverly, founder and CEO Chris Whitney shared something that stuck with me, and I wrote it down after it. And he said, if we could outserve each other, this would be a really cool place to live. And I could not agree more. And I tell you, being a part of that is so just fulfilling and just fills your heart with so much love and joy. If you would like to give your time this weekend on Saturday morning there in Waverly, you can do that. You don't have to sign up. Just show up. And I tell you, it is a worthwhile experience. If you would like more information on this weekend's food distribution there in Waverly, just contact One Generation Away. Just go to their website. You can also find the history of this organization, how it got started, and all the communities this nonprofit is helping. Stick with us right here on Mornings on Main Street. We have more coming up after this.
Beginning January 1, Delta Dental of Tennessee is introducing enhanced benefits for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
It'll include extra cleaning times for people with special needs, extra time for exams. More importantly, we will create a training program that any dentist office in the state can go online and pick that up.
At Delta Dental, we believe that the quality of oral health care should be accessible and inclusive for all.
Cheri's Hope is dedicated to sharing the hope of Christ, protecting the health of our community, and supporting those who are fighting cancer. You can be a champion of hope this season. When you give monthly to Cheri's Hope, you help meet the needs of families in our community as they are battling cancer. Your monthly gift of $10 or more gives hope all year. Together, we can make a difference.
This Christmas, Give a Little Nashville needs your help to bring joy to children in need. We'll be hosting toy drives during the holiday season, so please donate toys for kids of all ages. On December 3rd, join us for our Cocktails with Santa red carpet event, where you can mingle with other supporters and enjoy festive drinks and food. Together, we can make a difference in our community this holiday season. Visit givealittle.nashville.com or find us on Facebook to learn more and register today.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
This morning, I am so happy to start off with this particular interview with Dr. Kevin Kennedy Jr. with a very special service that is offered here in Clarksville for babies and infants with a particular issue in their mouth with their tongue.
Yes.
And it is here at the Tongue Tie Center. First off, thanks so much.
Yeah, you almost got tongue-tied saying
You know, it's funny, I've been looking over this throughout the entire morning, and you do get a little tongue-tied.
Yes. Yeah.
What is it that this service, what is this?
Yeah, so ultimately our goal is for our moms who are wanting to breastfeed their babies and are struggling, whether it's from pain, whether it's from lack of weight gain with the baby, whether it is gassy symptoms or reflux type behavior, our goal is to help improve that relationship so mom and baby can have the healthiest breastfeeding relationship possible. Now sometimes that extends into some later months and bottle feeding and our toddlers and preschool age kids, but the majority of patients that we see here at the Tongue Tie Center are infants less than 3 months old.
How long have you offered this? Because you have the Spring Creek Pediatric Dentistry.
Yes.
That's also a mouthful. Yeah. How long have you had this service?
So we started officially branded as the Tongue Tie Center right around COVID time. Okay. I've been doing the procedures for a while, but we specifically branched out with this business and rebranded to try to make the public aware that we are offering these services here locally in Clarksville. Mm-hmm. And it also allows us to create systems that give faster access to our moms. So we will have moms maybe send us a form online at midnight and they're up in tears because it is just not good. Or they'll call us at 4 p.m. the day before, I really need to be seen. And we've been able to, because it's a separate business, create systems where we can usually see them the next day and provide that service really, really quickly. Because they're in need. They're sleep deprived, they're exhausted, the baby's not gaining weight. It's a really, really emotional time for these families. So creating the separate business and rebranding it is somewhat marketing, but a lot of it is more allowing us to kind of jump around the hurdles that were creating obstacles for us in providing timely care before and then get them care faster.
What causes a baby or an infant to have that tongue-tie issue?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. I don't think we really know, but it is a simple string under the tongue. It's called a frenum. Now, every child has a frenum. Every baby has a frenum. It's just that some are more restrictive than others. So an easy analogy, so this is an infant that we saw recently here, was really, really struggling, and we performed the procedure, and mom was better same day. Mom said it feels better. The baby is, sleeping longer because they're getting a more volume of milk faster in a more efficient time. And it was one of ours, not everyone is like this, but one of our miracle babies where day of things were dramatically improved. So we were really, really pleased with that, which is kind of challenging because when you look at that from a doctor's perspective or a provider's perspective, you see a tiny string, but it is not something that's extremely obvious. And the typical example of what a tongue tie might look like when you Google it and you see this huge thick band of tissue all the way to the tip of the tongue. And that's what's created some confusion among providers in our areas. And my goal is not to say that my opinion is the right one or this or that. I just say, hey, here's what we've seen. We've been able to provide this service and moms have found it really helpful in their breastfeeding journey.
I can only imagine what this means for our area, for Montgomery County being one of the fastest growing counties, Clarksville being one of the fastest growing cities in our state. You have surrounding counties. I can only imagine how nice it is for mothers to have this so close.
Yes, and surprisingly, we have about a 2-hour driving radius pretty regularly. So, we'll see patients from Jackson up into Bowling Green and Paducah very regularly. Not so much down into Metro Nashville, but East Tennessee for sure. We have had a patient from Memphis all the way to Bristol. And so for our families who are local, it does provide a lot of advantage because we can then tailor it to, do we need to do both a lip and a tongue procedure today? Well, for someone who's driving 3 hours, that probably makes sense. For our local families, we can kind of decide, is there one that we should try first and see how much that helps and then return for the second one if it's necessary. But I'm a Clarksville boy, born and raised, went to public schools here, went to Austin Peay, so it is very special for me to provide what is somewhat of a unique service here in town, in the community that I love.
How did you find yourself providing this? Is this something you're either familiar with, or did you just kind of stumble across it?
What happened is my daughter, who is now 8, I watched my wife in the corner of our bedroom curl her toes in tears, how painful it was, and watched her struggle for 6 months. And eventually gave up because she couldn't endure it anymore. And I just thought, well, maybe this is just what it is. And then when she was 11 months old, I sat in a lecture in San Antonio about how tongue ties can affect breastfeeding. And I was hit with shock of That's exactly what we just went through. And I didn't know. I just had no idea. It's not really taught mainstream in traditional dental schools and in residency, because there's still some level of this is more of a functional procedure than maybe it is a disease procedure. So if you don't have this treated, it's not like things deteriorate in a disease fashion and your baby will die. It's just you don't get the full thriving that your baby can have, right? And so it's not a disease-based treatment is what I mean to say by that. But when I saw this presentation, it was very eye-opening, and I thought, I've got to learn more. So that was 2017, 2018. I spent probably 2 years learning as much as I could and not offering the procedure. And then in 2018, 2019, I did my first couple ones. And then, 2020 started doing it full time. And we probably see 3 or 4 or 5 babies a day now that come here for us.
Really?
Yes.
But I mean, obviously, the relief that you're giving to this mom and comfort that you're giving to that baby now that they can take in more milk, and of course that mother not feeling that pain.
Sure. Yeah, and American Academy of Pediatrics says that breastfeeding is the healthiest way for a baby to feed for a certain period of time. So my thought on that is, if there are ways that we can help babies have the healthiest feeding method possible, then we should do it.
What's that recovery time for the baby?
Amazingly, very, very fast. So usually babies will be fussy for a day or so, but we encourage moms to breastfeed right away. So sometimes mom will come in, she's had mastitis, she's had bleeding nipples, cracked nipples, whatever it is, she's exhausted, and we'll perform the procedure, give the baby back to her. They're apart 3 or 4 minutes, and I'll go in maybe 10 minutes later and say, how was it? She's like, no pain. It's amazing. It is really, really fun. It's way better than doing baby teeth.
I can only imagine.
Yes.
I spent quite a while going through your website. So for those who would like to know more about the Tongue Tie Center here in Clarksville, what a frenum is, how all of this works, where do we go to get that?
ClarksvilleTongueTie.com. Spend a lot of energy because this is very much an educational piece. And so the way that we are able to really streamline services is because if you have time on the website, you'll see everything that your child might struggle from, what we're looking for, how we do the procedure, what to expect post-op. So our goal is when you come in that we are ready. We're going to give you the honest evaluation. I won't do anything to your kid that I wouldn't do to my own. We can do this procedure same day, and that way when you need help fast, that's what we're here to do.
Kevin, thank you so much. Dr. Kevin Kennedy Jr. here at the Tongue Tie Center that you can find in Clarksville. He just gave you all the information. I also encourage you, for any new mom out there, to look at this website, to share this, with other new mothers or those expecting. It really could be helpful and beneficial.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks, Stephanie.
Stick with us here on Mornings on Main Street. We have more coming up after this commercial break.
He shoots, and he scores!
Welcome to Grin Doctors, your trusted pediatric dentistry and orthodontics practice. Achieve healthy, beautiful smiles with our expert care. At Grin Doctors, we are committed to your child's oral health and well-being. Trust Grin Doctors, your pediatric dental home for exceptional care. We go above and beyond to ensure the comfort and satisfaction of our young patients. Grin Doctors Kids Dental and Orthodontics is right down the street in Old Hickory, TN. Easy to get to and in your neighborhood.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way. When flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage, it ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. If you want to decorate yourself up a little bit more, add a little sparkle, whether it be for the holiday season or honestly anytime, I tell you what, Gilded Sage is where it's at. Morgan Culver here is with Gilded Sage, and she's adding a touch of sparkle to anyone who would like it. So I have to ask, what is this called?
Some people call it fairy hair, unicorn hair, hair sparkles. There's lots of names for it. It's silken hair extensions, so it's not plastic, it's not tinsel, it doesn't come off your Christmas tree. But you can flat iron it, blow dry it, curl it, anything you would normally do to your hair, you can do to this.
I absolutely love it. Fairy hair. I like fairy hair for
I know,
that.
I do too.
So, Morgan, how long have you been working with this?
I have actually been doing it for 15 years, though I've always done it as private events or for my friends' birthday parties. But a month ago, I actually resigned from my job, and I have started doing this full time.
So she's adding a little bit of gold fairy hair to my dark hair here to sparkle me up for the holiday season. And you know, it's so funny. This is another time coming into my favorite coffee shop. She's here, and I'm like, what are you doing? What is this? How popular is this right now?
It's having a renaissance in Clarksville, I would say. In Florida, where I'm from, you can't walk down the street without finding someone with this in their hair. Everyone has it. But when I moved to Clarksville, I realized no one does. So I feel like there's a market, there's a demand for it. And I get everyone from, oh my gosh, I used to do this, to, oh my gosh, I've never heard of this. So I feel, yeah, it's very popular. And the more I'm popping up, the more the repeat customers I'm getting. People are just so excited about this, booking me for their kids' birthday parties.
That is so cool. How many different colors do we have? Because I'm seeing quite a few.
Yes, I brought 38 colors today. Okay. Everything from prismatic colors that really catch the light and sparkle, matter colors, the whole gambit of the rainbow. I think I've got like 4 purples. Yeah, so, and I also have really dark colors like black that have iridescent. So if you have really dark hair like Stefanie here, but don't want a lot, it's a little bit more subtle for that.
Okay, good to know. And if you want to start working on mine as we continue on this conversation, because my big question is, I curl my hair, I flat iron my hair. Will this stay in?
Absolutely. So I tie it using this little latch hook to one strand of hair. Okay. No glue, no beads. So it will come out as soon as that hair would have naturally shed. It won't catch on any knots or on your comb, because I'm only tying it to one strand, not a bunch of strands.
Okay.
So you can brush it, you can style it, you can do everything you normally do. You can even dye it. It will not pick up the color of the dye. I am not a true redhead. So when I dye my hair red, I have seafoam in my hair, and after I was done dyeing, I still have seafoam in my hair.
Good to know. What is the price point? What can we expect to spend on something like this?
Now, I start at 10 strands for $20. Okay. But I double them up. So like I said, it's tied. So you have the tail of the fairy hair, the knot, and then the other tail of the fairy hair. So 10 strands is going to look more like 20 strands. Plus, I always throw in a couple extras, because like I said, it comes out when your hair naturally sheds. And some people's hair sheds really quickly, and some people's it could last for, I have people who I see them 18 months later, and I'm like, you still have that in your hair.
Morgan, I have to say the best thing that I saw today was another woman, and it really kind of shows you this is for all ages. You don't have to be, you know, a teen or in your 20s. Like, this is for all ages, and it really does just kind of sparkle up your hair just a bit. So that was really cool to see. The woman's name was Barbara, that you were working on for a while.
Yep, and it's not a commitment too. So I mean, sometimes if you're like, you know what, I feel like dyeing my hair purple, now you're committed.
That is true.
Yes. So when you do this, it's just one strand of hair. If you get sick of it, if it sheds, you can always come back, get a different color.
Now, how can we connect with you? Say if we want to have you at a party, because you say you've done private events, and then we'll hit on some of the pop-ups that you'll be at.
Okay, I am on social media, so I have an Instagram. It's the.gilded.sage. Okay. I could find me on Facebook, just search Gilded Sage. I'm the first one that pops up. And I'm also www.gildedsage.com as well. And you can book, I do walk-ins, but you can also book appointments for the pop-ups that I'm having.
And you do have those pop-ups coming up, some holiday ones. Where will you be in the next couple of weeks?
On Friday, December 1st, I'm going to be actually on the fort at the RF Sync Library for their Winter Wonderland.
Okay.
On December 2nd, which is this Saturday, I am going to be at the Merry Little Christmas Market from 11 to 4, and that's at the Royalties Event Center on Wilma Rudolph.
In Clarksville?
In Clarksville, here, yes. And then I have one on December 9th, which is a Saturday, and that's actually down the street here in Clarksville at Pups, Plants, and Goods.
Gotcha.
Because there is actually, the whole downtown is doing like a winter theme. And I have one on the 16th as well. That is a holiday market, and this is all on my social media as well.
So that is a great spot to connect with Morgan there on her social media. Morgan, thank you so much. Morgan Culver with Gilded Sage. Just, again, like I said, a great way.
I love a good pun.
I do too, all the time. A great way to just add a little extra, whether it be for the holidays or just whenever, for whatever. Morgan, thank you so much for this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephanie.